I'm Sue Tiger from Tiger Gardens, and we are 2 weeks away from the first farmers market of 2025. Tim and I are so excited because this is our 6th year selling canned goods at the Urbana Market at the Square. So I thought I'd take a little time to talk about why it's so important to shop at your local farmers market rather than your supermarket. Now, don't get me wrong, we shop at the supermarket every single day. They are a vital resource in the community. However, it's not necessarily where you should get your fruits and vegetables. It's a concept I call hours to table. So you think you're getting local vegetables at your local supermarket during the in-season, and that's not actually the case. They come from Canada and Mexico. And while I love Canada and Mexico, I've been to both places, I don't want my vegetables coming from there. And that is because of this concept I call hours to table.
When it comes to many goods we buy from overseas, time in transit usually does not affect end performance. They can travel around the globe and be as good on the shelf then as when they were manufactured. But that is not the case for our food, vegetables and fruits in particular. Let's look at the typical food chain for produce, which illustrates a concept I call hours to table. Produce is best, tastes best, and has the most nutrients if it is picked ripe. And the longer it has to travel before it gets to your table, the more it loses taste and nutrients. So it stands to reason that the most nutrient-rich, best-tasting produce comes from your own garden. 5 minutes to table and taste the best it is ever going to taste. Wouldn't it be nice if all your fresh veggies came from your backyard? However, as we know, the actual food chain is much longer. So if your garden is the best place to get fresh produce, then your local farmer's market is the next best place because you're only adding a day or two to the time it's picked to the time you get to transport it home. And most produce easily lasts a few days unprocessed. But then we get to the supermarket and the hours drastically increase. Not sure there's much differentiation between a supermarket and food delivery service other than packaging and distribution is combined with the supermarket, but let's assume both of those are the same. And let's just deal with the supermarket. So you would assume that from the farm, that means from the United States of America, and that is actually not the case. Most of the produce on our supermarket shelves in the United States of America comes from Canada and Mexico. And the only problem with our produce coming from so far away is that it has to be picked under ripe in order to make the trip. It has to be strong enough to travel that great distance, and it takes hours and hours to get across the border. So once it gets across the border, then it has to be ready for packaging and distribution, and that takes hours and hours. Then it is distributed to our stores where it sits for hours and hours until the consumers come and buy the produce and drive it home. So you would think that the top recommendation is to grow your own and then get from the farmer's market. And actually, I say buy from the farmer's market and supplement with your own because you never know what pest is going to come up or what disease is going to come up in your garden that was never there before. So count on the farmer's market and then supplement with your own garden. And that is the food chain, hours to table.
In the Champaign-Urbana area, if you shop at Harvest Market, you can get a bigger option for local vegetables in season and off season because they are allowed to shop at local auctions and they can buy from local farmers. So you're going to see a lot more local produce at Harvest Market. Really good looking green asparagus from Mexico, right next to tomatoes from Carbondale. I'm so excited. These look beautiful. Uh-oh, here we go. A brand new batch of yellow tomato basil jam. And it also looks like we're going to be doing a Cherokee purple tomato salsa. Look at this beautiful, huge tomato from Carbondale.